this matchup, it's sort of been looked at from one perspective, and that's that UTEP's really big and Butler's going to have trouble handling it. Do you see it in that same way, or are there other things that you're looking at that'll play out to be more key factors?
I think there's two sides to it, because the other thing is UTEP has to prepare for all the sets that Butler runs, and I don't know that they face Conference USA, a team exactly similar to Butler. So I know the Butler people have looked a lot at the Houston tapes, because Houston was the one team in CUSA that could beat them. So I think there are a lot of issues to it.
UTEP certainly seems to be a pretty sexy pick from some national analysts, but I would think that you probably see it a little bit differently.
Well, I do. I think, if anything, if I'm a player, I love that. I love everywhere you turn it on, UTEP's the 12 seed that's going to beat the 5, and that's fine. I mean, that was something, harping back to 2003, Mississippi State, who we drew in the first round, they'd come off a win against Kentucky, and everybody was picking them for the Final Four because they were playing so well, and you love that if you're that opponent. At the same time, when you look at this matchup, if anything, UTEP's got to be pretty upset that they got a 12 seed. I mean, they blow through Conference USA with one loss. Houston's really the only team that can figure them out in their league, and they're stuck with a 12 seed because of that loss in their conference tournament championship. But with Culpepper, Derek Character is huge on the inside, Moultrie, Williams. So their front line is what's really impressive to me. Although Culpepper's the leading scorer and the Conference USA Player of the Year, they want to play through those big guys. So I think and bigs have given Butler trouble at times this season. So it's kind of ironic that this is a matchup the Dogs got, because it's truly a test. Have you gotten better? Have you improved in an area that was perceived as a weakness throughout the regular season?
In terms of this Butler team, I mean, other than the coaches, you probably see them just about as much as anyone. Are they playing as well as they have at the end of a season since you've been, on the radio broadcast and seen these teams go to four consecutive NCAA tournaments?
I would say so. I really like the focus of this team, and especially when they feel like they have something to prove, which they did in the conference tournament, got that monkey off their back. Now they feel like they have something to prove because they didn't play as well as they wanted to a year ago in the NCAA tournament, A, and B, they didn't play as well as they wanted to in California the first time, so they want to even the score, if you will, this time.
This team, there was such a huge spotlight shown on them, before the non-conference or before the conference season began. And now looking at this game, it seems like most people are saying a lot of the same things that they saw about this Butler team during that non-conference stretch where they went, or the first 12 games of the year before this 20-game winning streak. What's different about this team now versus then?
I think they're healthier, number one. I think the defense is much better. They don't have the breakdowns that they do, albeit infrequently. They had those the first trip to California that I'm thinking about. And I think they're hitting on all cylinders, but yet the flip side is I don't think they've played the great game. They haven't played to the potential, especially with three-point shooting, where they had the game where they've really shot the lights out. So tomorrow would be a good time for that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. The NCAA tournament has kind of provided, at least a few times, some pretty good three-point shooting performances. I asked Darnell about it. I asked Zach about it, and so on. Is he the guy maybe that could continue that legacy, I guess?
You have to look at it. He leads the Horizon League in that category. He made some big shots last Tuesday against Wright State. He's kind of the emotional leader of this team. You don't have to start to do that or be the vocal leader, which is kind of him. So I think it starts with him. Shelvin Mack came out on fire against Wright State, and maybe it's him. Hopefully it's a bunch of guys.
Do you look forward to the Culpepper versus Norrin matchup?
I can't wait. I've been talking to Joe Gentry about that. I mean, that is going to be so fun to watch. And I think another thing that's going to be key is how physical are they going to let the guys on the perimeter be. Ron is so good. He's as good as I've seen trailing off of downstreams because he's able to be physical, get on that the offensive player's hip, and just kind of ride him, but not foul him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be key, but it's going to be – I could watch Ron guard guys all day long just because of how intense he is, how strong he is, how great he is at using his body to get into the right positions.
Most important thing Butler needs to do to win tomorrow?
I think they need to take care of the basketball and get their shots and attack when they can, when they break the pressure, not only be content to do that, but to attack on the offensive end.